Okay, we're going to resume. I would like to try to get this integrated and up and working. So we've configured things. So now we need to add a few things to our payment page. So there's kind of a sample payment page in the Stripe docs in their Stripe/docs/payment/checkout. They've got a preview here. Show you roughly what it will look like. And our form's going to look something similar, a little bit simpler, but basically this section over here on the right is what it will look like. They also give us a test card number to use. They say we can use any expiry, we can use any CVC, and the default card number to use is 424242. Okay, so let's build our. We have our payment view. It's got our order total. Maybe I'll add that. May as well format that as currency. We'll do string.format. So that'll just give us a wrapper. Microsoft's currency format. We've used this in other places. We used it in our cart last week. So all the items are formatted as currency. So we'll do that. So I'm just going to use a script tag. It'll call some JavaScript from Stripe and generate the payment form for us. Pardon? Okay, if it's not directly related to this, maybe we can talk about it later. Okay, what's that? Sorry, when I put which character in? Oh, it's a single line. If it's multiple lines, I would need to wrap the code in curly braces. Until there's a space. It knows because it encounters HTML. It encounters HTML. It just knows. Yeah. Whoops. So also in our script tag, whoops, I guess, we want to set up a bunch of data parameters. So we're going to need to pass our publishable key, which we haven't done. We'll have to set that up in our method. We have to pass the total in cents. We've got our cents total variable that we set up in our controller. Where are we? On payment. So view bag dot cents total. What else does Stripe need? Needs a name to display at the top of the payment window. Go away. $. Thing it wants a description. And we also want to specify the currency. With CAD. Now we need to provide the publishable key in our controller method. We haven't put that in the view bag. We need to read that out of our configuration and populate this value. So inside of our method, I'm just going to go back here and add a view bag, publishable key equals, and then we use our I configuration and it's in the stripe section, I believe. Publishable key. Hang on, bear with me for a second, sorry. Get section, stripe. Okay, yes. So refer to the stripe section and then in there to the key called publishable key. So that will read this key out of this section. So I'm going to compile, go back to cart. I got to check out again, and we'll see if we get a Stripe checkout form in our UI now. Hopefully we do, and then we would need to write the code to process the payment. This is just kind of the UI for setting it up. And then we'll have to write a bunch of back-end code to actually process this. Okay, so you're going to go back. I've also given you a link here. Here's the full .NET, ASP.NET integration, how to call their API. So we'll kind of go through a lot of those steps, but the link is here in their docs. So it's got the .NET version. We'll want to install the Stripe package. And then it kind of walks through bit by bit how to call their API and what kind of responses it'll give us back. Okay, so I'm going to go and check out. So we get this little pay with card button. That JavaScript invokes it. If I click pay with card, we now get our little Stripe form. If I put in an invalid card, right, that's an email, isn't it? So it declines the card. If I put in a valid card, at least a valid test card number, and try again. Says my payment's okay. Then it tries to post our form. The problem is we have no post method on the payment. So Stripe validates it, but nothing's happening yet. We now need a post method to generate the charge for Stripe and then save the order to our database. So we now have to write a post payment method, which is fairly advanced because we have to do a whole number of things. Process the payment, save the order details, and then delete the items from the cart. We're going to move the items out of the cart table and into the order details table. So if the user then clicks on cart, it should show the cart's empty once they've paid. Then we should be able to scaffold out a quick order list and order details so we could actually see the order. So I'm going to write a post method for payment. It's going to be private, so it needs authorize. It's going to use HTTP post, and we're going to validate the anti-forgery token like we do for all form posts. So no parameters being passed in. Now we need to install, there's actually a NuGet package for Stripe. So we need to install the package because it has all the libraries that will make all of the API calls. I'm going to go to my tools, NuGet package manager, and manage NuGet packages for solution. Make sure I click on the Browse tab, and I'm going to search for Stripe, which brings up stripe.net, which is the official library from Stripe, 3 million downloads. There is another third-party library. It's much less popular. I'm going to use the stripe.net official one that Stripe created. So I'm going to check my project, and I'll just install the latest version of this. Whoops, okay. Sorry, our method does need a couple parameters, so I can't build quite yet. That's okay. We've got two methods called payment with the same signature. So we actually need two parameters here. I think we need a Stripe email and a Stripe token. And then eventually we are going to, just so we can actually build, when this is done, what we're going to do, save it to the database, and then we'll take them off to an order detail page that will show them the order, like a confirmation page, basically, or receipt page. And we can scaffold that out. We'll redirect to an action. The action is going to be called details. The controller which we'll build is called orders. And we'll pass in a new ID. Okay, we'll just leave that part. We'll leave the parameter for now. At least our code will build. We're going to take the user off to a order detail page after they're done paying. I think I can build now. I'm just going to go back and check the documentation with Stripe. I've got the working code here, but we can have a look at it. So here's setting up Stripe server side. So add the stripe.net package. We just did that. We need to create a payment intent. So we've got to set up, call our Stripe configuration and set the API key value using our secret key. So we'll read that out of our I configuration. Then we're going to create a new payment service, and we're going to set up the options with the amount and currency. And we instantiate a payment intent object. We've already built the form to do this, so this part we're good with. We just did a different, we manually created it. And then yeah, there's not very much there. Hang on. Let's go up. So we're going to set the key. Set the charge options, and then try and submit it to Stripe. So get secret key from configuration and pass to Stripe API. We're going to read this value from appsettings.json. This is our secret key. It doesn't know what Stripe configuration is, so we need to make a reference to the Stripe package we just installed. There it goes away. We want to get the username from the session, from user.identity name. We also want all the items in the cart. So we know who the customer is, and we know what items they're buying. So we need to use Stripe as a customer service. So we're going to instantiate an instance there. We're also going to instantiate an instance of a Stripe charge. So we want to create a new customer object. Whoops. Sorry. So we're creating a new Stripe customer. There's a few parameters we want to fill. Requires this token. So these are the two parameters being passed into our method. We don't have to supply these values. These come from that little JavaScript automatically. The token gets generated, and the email is the email we typed at the top of the payment form. That form automatically sends it in. And then we'll create a new charge. So we'll take our order total. Oh, we didn't get our order yet. Sorry, bear with me for a second. We'll need to get the order from the session. I forgot that part. Oh, sorry, there's a comment there. We'll fix that. Description. Put in a description. Currency is Canadian dollars. And Stripe will generate a customer ID. I forgot the order. So we need to read the order out of the session. So we're going to call get object, cast it as oops. Everything is breaking. And it doesn't like this. Okay, let's try this with no conversion. What happens if we do this? So this amount is defined as a long integer in Stripe. There. Okay, that seemed to work. I can convert it to a 32-bit integer. Happy with that. So again, we're taking the total, we're creating the charge in cents. So this makes the charge in Stripe, so we actually will see it in the Stripe dashboard. Now we can save the order. Call context.orders.add and context.save. So this should actually insert the order to SQL Server. Oh my God, what's that bright thing outside the window? Was that what they call it? I'd forgotten. So this will insert all the order data to the orders table. But now we also need to save the order details and empty the cart. So we're going to create a new order detail record for every item in the cart. Actually, I guess it would be simpler to do this way. So we want to get the primary key from our new order. Product ID from the cart. Quantity from the cart. Price. Hang on, maybe I do need this.
Sorry for interrupting. Can I just do this?
Sure. Yep, sure. So for every item in the cart, we're going to create a new order details and copy the product ID, the quantity, and the price. And we'll attach it to our new order ID, which is the foreign key. And then we're going to call context.orderDetails.add. We'll add each line item. And when we're done populating that list, we'll again call save changes. So this will save to the orders table. This saves the individual line items to the order details table. To empty the cart, we can just loop through this one more time, loop through the cart items again, and we can remove each cart item and call save again. Now that we've saved them, and then we call save again. Now we want to load the details, the detail page of the new order. So we can just add a parameter here. So this is going to then load our order confirmation page, which we can scaffold. Well, maybe this will work. We will get an error here. So very quickly, I'll just scaffold out an orders controller with views. We can always tweak it later. So I'll right click my controller, add a new one, MVC controller with views using Entity Framework based on our orders model. We call it orders controller. So this will give us a list of orders, the order details. It'll also give us create, edit, and delete. We'll want to remove all of those. It should be read only, that we can look up the orders. Orders controller. Using Entity Framework, we want to scaffold the whole thing. It will automatically build us a details view. So I'm going to build. So we have a details method that takes an ID parameter. It's already here when we scaffold. So I'll let this build. Now I'm going to try the whole thing. So I'll go back to my cart. My items should still be in my cart because we've never executed the code that clears it out. I'm still logged in. So I'm going to try and go through this entire process of paying through Stripe and seeing my receipt. If it works, I got 5 minutes to just clean it up a bit. And maybe we add an orders link, an order history link when a user's logged in. They click that, they get the list of orders, but only list of orders that belongs to them. The scaffold right now is going to show all the orders for everybody. That's useful for the site owner, not so good from a customer perspective. I'm not right now. I'm just logged in as a customer. But we can just add a where clause onto the order index. So I'll go to checkout. I'll try to pay through Stripe. See if we actually managed to get it right the first time. I know it was a fair error when I threw at you. There was no way to kind of partially test it. So I'll try to pay. No, this did not submit because I did not include a form tag. So it never actually submits. I need an HTML form tag here in order for this to submit. Form. I forgot that. I try again. I'll just go back to my checkout. I'll try to pay again. So now it submits my form, which we were missing. Making the call to Stripe. All right, so there's our order. There's our order number 2000. My cart should be empty now, which it is. And in my order details, I've now got the 4 items I purchased. So we're looping through the cart items twice. The first time so we can copy each item from the cart table to order details. And then once the order details are saved, we're going to loop through again and we're going to delete the items out of the cart. If I go back to cart now, it'll be empty. All we did was make it. I'm going to make 2 really small changes to it. In the orders, in the details view, this shows the order, which is cool, but it doesn't show me what I ordered. It also doesn't show me the order number. Those would seem to be pretty relevant things. I should show the order number here, and we kind of want to mimic the cart down here. So at the top, in my, right here, maybe it should say order number and at model dot order ID in my heading. And then I'm going to go back to the cart page. I'm just going to kind of lift this table out of it, because this already has a table with almost everything we need. I'll just ignore my footer row. Hang on, just give me a sec. So I'm going to copy that down here. I'm going to delete the edit and back to list. And I will take out my remove from cart. I can take out my total variable, which we don't need. Model dot, this is what. I've got to hard code these headings, I think, just product. Quantity. And price. So if I just refresh that, let's see what my receipt looks like now. Orders. That's interesting. Our item. All right, well, we can clean that up to start in next class. So at least it's working. We can make a payment. We can get a response back. We can convert that shopping cart into an actual order. So here's my order number 2000 with the details. This will be probably a quick fix down at the bottom. I may just have to include it in the details, I think. Include. If I move my include there, it may work. So include the details, include the child data along with the order. I'll just refresh it. I think that'll populate the bottom of the page now. Come on, you can do it. So next week, we're going to look at unit testing. We'll have a lab in class. 4 marks. That's what I mean. Yes. I will push this stuff up to Git. I'm just curious if it ever actually finishes loading. Okay. So kind of, we have our quantity and price, our product names. We'll still have to include those as well. I think I'll need a chain of includes to show the product names. All right. Thank you for your attention today. I know there was a lot to cover. I wanted to try to get that working. All right. I will get working on marking your